You're probably thinking to yourself, where on earth is he now? Well, in terms of moth trapping, I'm somewhere new, although Dilys and I have trapped here before, but it's a long time ago. This is Gamston Wood. It's a fabulous Nottinghamshire Wildlife Trust reserve just outside Retford. One side of the road you've got Gamston Wood, the other side of the road is Eaton Wood, and both are very typical woodlands of this sort of part of Nottinghamshire. Very different mix of trees here compared to Sherwood Forest, obviously, and also the Eakin area. So we should get a slightly different range of moths. The majority will still be the same, but there's a potential for species that I've not showed you before. All I'm waiting for now is for my brain to decide where on earth I'm going to trap. I'm in this open area that's right in the middle of the wood at the moment, just waiting to see what the wind's going to do and how breezy it is, but it's only blowing around the tops of the trees. I can either stay here, go in this corner behind me, or go back further along the entrance track. Decisions. Well, it's approaching 9:45 on the 23rd of July, so I think as the sky is now slowly darkening, I think it's time to fire up the generator and get that light on. Well, we're up and running here in Gamston Wood. Let's see what comes in over the next 2 or 3 hours. Well, the first moth is in, and not surprisingly it's a small fan-footed wave. Quite typically the first species attracted to an MV light in any Nottinghamshire woodland at this stage in July, but hopefully that will be the forerunner of a nice range of species. Conditions are certainly promising. It is largely overcast, and the breeze that's present at the moment I'm hoping will die down, although it's not breezy at these levels here. But I would like to thank at this point Michael Walker of the Nottinghamshire Wildlife Trust for sorting out the permits and permissions for me to come and trap back here at Gamston Wood and at a number of other Nottinghamshire Wildlife Trust sites, and hopefully those you'll be seeing over the next few weeks and months and years. Tonight though, it's Gamston Wood, and Gamston Wood was always a woodland that provided Dilys and myself with a good range of species by the time we switched off the light and shut the gates behind us. I'm hoping for very much the same thing. No Dilys, of course. Unfortunately, Dilys is no longer with us, but I'm sure she is in spirit and will be urging those moths to come in to this light. there's a shot of the general area that I'm trapping in. Cloud is thin in parts, almost leading to clear sky, but there's a veil of cloud all over the sky. Lovely conditions, and we're just waiting for the moths to come in. Well, not much has really come in, but here's an exception to the rule. We all like to see large hawk moths, and 2 of these pine hawk moths came in almost instantaneously. Quite remarkable how that so often, happens. But a lovely large moth, quite delicately marked actually, in various shades of grey across the thorax and the abdomen and the wings. The wings often tend to show a brownish tinge to them, and the only discernible marks there are on them are those 3 like dashes in the centre of the forewing. Certainly not a colourful moth, but if you like your moths big, then you'll love a pine hawk moth. We're approaching midnight, and to be honest, it's been quite disappointing really, although I think the general feel of the night was it feeling slightly cool. I thought it was going to be a more warmer night than what it is, to be honest, but moths are still coming in, but the sheet's not that busy. Lots of dingy footmen, quite a few willow ermines also coming in terms of the migrants, but a beautiful tortrix that's in, several examples of them, is Hedia salicella, and it's a real beauty. But coronet has just come in, a nice sort of green form of coronet, and the only migrant species is a single Plutella xylostella, which is turning up fairly regularly in most trapping sessions at the moment. But we shall see what comes in. I'm going to give it another hour, and that'll take us up to about 1 o'clock, and we'll see what we've had at the light by then. Well, we're approaching midnight, and there's not a lot happening, to be honest. There aren't that many moths coming in at the moment. It's gone very quiet the last 10 minutes. Temperature's still 14 centigrade, but it just feels that little bit cooler. But I'm thinking of just starting to gather a few things together and get ready for packing up and leaving, but I'll certainly stick it out until 0:45, and then I'll have done 3 hours. But a disappointing session, if I'm honest. I expected more, but there again, this isn't a year of more, is it? It's a year of smaller numbers, but we'll see. That looks like a drinker moth that's just gone whizzing off up into the night sky, but it's gone very quiet here. So that's the plan. Thinking of starting to pack things away now and see if anything does come in this next quarter of an hour. And here's a very attractive moth. This is a beautiful golden white. Its coloration looks rather strange in this light, but it's a very well marked moth and a particular favourite of mine. It's not a moth that I've ever caught in any numbers. Occasionally Dillis and I would trap this species, but one to look out for, and easily mistaken amongst the numbers of silver wire that you'll get at your light during the later stages of the summer. So that's a nice one that's finally settled down. It's took an age to settle down, and that's beautiful golden wire, a beautiful moth. Well, it's still generally very quiet. Not a lot has come in since that last update. 4 pine hawk moths, so there's a nice count of any hawk moth, but especially of pine hawk moths. But I'm going to start and pack up now. It's just coming up to 1:45. That'll be 3 hours. 3 hours well spent. I could have just stayed at home and watched something on YouTube or television, but nice to get out here. Bit disappointing in terms of the conditions. I thought it was going to be a few degrees warmer than it is, but you can't have everything. At least we've got out and got a few moths here for the first time at Gamston Wood in a decade. So time to pack up.